Drops, in the drops, in the drops, in the drops. Thank you. Welcome to the real vlog. So welcome to the vlog. I'm not sure if you're hearing any of this chat behind me, but this is classic cyclist chat. This is, I think my power meter's overreading. Oh, my power meter's underreading. I think I got dropped. Must be the power meter, it's not my leg. He's keen to talk these days, ladies and gentlemen. It's good. You guys are breaking him down bit by bit. Little to you know, he's quite a grumpy old sod, but...
So what we're doing is adding on 2 or 3 minutes of flat before the climb. So Mount White, we're starting at the Brooklyn Bridge, do probably 3 or 4 minutes of the flat, then do the climb, then hold the power on after for 1 or 2 minutes. So it's turning what is usually an 8-minute effort into about
when moths attack.
Into about a 15-minute effort. So it's just more threshold work. So it's just a way to mix up a standard Bobo Mount White loop for those that are in Sydney. And just targets slightly different energy systems. So it doesn't always have to be up the climb. Like the bits before the climb, they're just rolling, mostly flat.
What you do yourself, Jay?
Mountain bike race.
Everyone keeps saying to me, oh, you should try mountain biking, blah, blah, blah. This is all I ever see on social media with mountain biking. Just people injured. Oh, it's not that bad. Falls aren't that bad. But they're falls.
They're way worse on the road.
Way worse on the road. Yeah. But they seem to happen half as regularly. Are you doing another full 15-minute?
Follow East to the IGA. One more.
Cool.
Turn it from a good session to a great session. One more. One more.
Yeah. Oh look!
What is this?
There's Toby before morning last year. See you, troops. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about recovery with you guys because with that little video we did with Jesse and he made that comment.
Back to back, your body can handle a lot. I think a lot of people do 1-2 hard sessions and they think, oh, I need a rest day, like I'm gonna overtrain.
And I 100% agree, like I'm behind the camera like nodding away, go, yeah, toughen up, toughen up. But the thing is, that's all good and well to say, but if you don't get recovery between those sessions, well, then you're just digging yourself a hole. So look, what I wanna do is kind of share with you my experience, what's worked for me, and what hasn't worked for me in the past. This is not gonna be particularly scientific, it's just, yeah, what's kind of worked for me. So I really want to start with sleep, guys. It's obvious, I know that, but I want to come at it from a different angle. And the angle is, if you have the sort of young kids or you have the really unpredictable sleep, what I have found works is to almost dictate your training around your sleep. So, for example, let's say I had a Tuesday VO2 session planned and the Monday night was a disaster. We were up 3 or 4 hours, maybe I got a 3-hour block here and a 4-hour block possibly somewhere else throughout the night. I would not do that VO2 session the next day. Doing that hard, super intense session the day after bad sleep is not good. Don't overplay that. Like if you have predictable sleep and you just have a bad night, then just toughen up and get out and do it. But when your sleep is unpredictable, like when you have young kids, that's the kind of time that you need to really monitor it and sort of run your training accordingly. The second thing, guys, is utilizing that 15-minute window straight after training. Now, I asked Jesse specifically about the exact breakdown of things, and I'll flash that up while I'm talking. But what I want to just come at it from is from the real world example, which is I found that 15-minute window is really tight. And in the past, tried to do the real food thing, like maybe make the smoothie. It just doesn't get done. So I'm now back on the supplement program. Performance stuff is what I'm actually using at the moment. Thank you, Jay Vine, for putting me onto this. It's really cool. On the days that I make use of that 15-minute window, that I am able, I don't feel as fatigued the next day. The third thing that works for me, guys, is 100% actually fueling the ride. And he mentioned this in that thing of don't go out and destroy yourself and crawl home. Those days I've found where I do crawl home, that's where the next day becomes a big problem, especially in Sydney, right? So we'll all do this thing every now and again where like you're an hour from home or something, and maybe you have run out of food and you just go, oh, look, I'll just tough it out and get home. Fine. Fine if you're not wanting to train the next day. But if you do want to do something the next day, don't let your glycogen levels drop off for that last hour and then get home and crawl home, and you will really, really suffer. So I now do make sure I carry enough food for the whole ride, not just enough food to get me to a point where I know I can then crawl home, if you know what I mean. Yeah, look, so what I was just going to do is I'd kind of had a little chat to the camera about recovery. I had never been an ointments person in my life, and we started using this that it became a little bit of a game changer for us. I don't know what's going on with this, so I kind of thought you might be able to help me out.
When you train, especially when you train hard, you need to recover fast, because you need to be able to not just get through your training event today, but you're trying to get back into training as much as you possibly can, or as soon as you possibly can. The reason Athlete's Gel works so well is we're able to get through the skin, number one, and not all products in the market can actually do that. So by being able to break through the skin, which is the largest organ in the body, and then store in the outer layer of skin, which is called the stratum corneum layer, we then activate under heat or under blood pressure. So as soon as you start to train, obviously, blood pressure increases, and obviously that's when the Athlete's Gel really starts to make its way into the deep tissue. By doing that, it's actually able to make its way over a 10 to 15 minute period to the microcapillaries, and then being drawn down into the deep tissue. And that's where we really start to notice that we're getting the effects that we were originally chasing.
Where I use this is, so I will come home, I will use my recovery shake or whatever it is currently that I'm running. I will jump in the shower. I will have a warm shower, and I will then put this on. The next 15 to 20 minutes of my life is a nice place to be.
So by adding capsaicin, which is actually the hottest part of the inside of the chili, into our formula, it's one of those things that helps to expand blood vessels. Now, blood vessels deliver nutrient, but they also deliver oxygen. The other role is removing waste. Okay, so that process is called vasodilation. So as one of the actives, it's able to improve delivery of oxygen and nutrient to cells that are struggling under duress. And that's where you get that build-up of lactic acid, and you need that lactic acid being pulled out as quickly as you possibly can. What it will normally, if you've heard of delayed muscle soreness, you'll normally get that 2 days after, a serious leg workout or similar. Athlete's Gel is actually helping to draw that lactic acid out as it's building up.
And it's Australian made, I might add.
Yeah.
Damn right. Hey, look, I tell you what, we can rub it on here as long as we want. We're going to give one of these away. And what I was thinking we might do is, guys, so what we'll do is comment below this video and give us your best recovery tip or technique. Make sure you use the hashtag athletesgel underneath the comment so we know that we're chasing that particular comment up.
Chris, why don't we give 2 away?
Oh, we'll give 2 away. Jeez, look at this. Jesse will jump in the comments and he'll select the winner, and yeah, we'll go from there. But guys, thank you very much for that chat, Dave, explaining what this is. You will be able to smell Team Nero Bianchi at the start line all year long. Well, you'll see. You'll see. You'll see.
Thanks very much, Team Nero Bianchi. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks to Dave for that. I actually met Dave at the Barrel Classic. I finished the ride, went into that kind of finishes area, and there was that sort of free massagey thing you do see at some of these places. Took up the offer, went in and he gave me a massage, but like this ointment that he used, it was amazing. Anyway, chased him up, and yeah, one thing led to another, and they're involved with the team, which is super cool. It is a bit of a coup for us because like they're involved with like Olympic athletes and all this kind of stuff, so to be involved like in the domestic cycling scene is pretty cool. I do want to also talk about Philip at Aptium, and I'll do that probably in the next one or the one after, because I reckon what you guys might find interesting is why someone might get involved financially with a bike racing team. There was an article, an SBS article recently about Warney, about one of the amateur teams that got involved, and it really pissed me off. It really got up my goat because it kind of played the NRS as like this professional, like slick teams that are, you know, offering riders. It really me actually. Get on that friggin'. Actually, I can't say that. Yeah, so I thought we'd talk about why Philip's getting involved with the team, because obviously very different. You know, he's not selling a product that is necessarily involved with bikes at all. So what's in it for him, and what does he expect as a return on investment, really? So we'll do that in coming weeks. I do want to finish up by talking to you about the recovery tips and tricks for me that have not worked. Let's start with cool downs. Don't bother. Stretching, never really got into it, especially as a recovery, okay? Like as just generally staying flexible, sure, absolutely, get involved. Compression stuff, don't love it. Do use it a bit when traveling. So, for example, like on the day that I drove or went up to Nationals Day, on the day there, wore some compression stuff there, definitely, but as a recovery straight after the ride, no, don't bother. Any recovery techniques, Kira?
No.
No. Fair enough.
That's coloring.
Just gonna do some colouring in. Like, I realise I've just done an entire vlog about, like, about recovery, but honestly, I reckon, like, the biggest misnomer or urban myth or anything to do with recovery is just to take it too seriously. Like, to spend your whole ride worrying about whether you're going to get your shake in 15 minutes after the ride is ridiculous. Like, there are so many better cyclists out there than any of us, and I guarantee you they're not worrying about recovery for a blink moment. So just don't sweat the small stuff. Has to be like the biggest bit of advice, and enjoy friggin' riding rather than stressing about recovery. Says the guy who's just spent 15 minutes talking about recovery. But you know what I mean. So anyway, just all chill out. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, please. Like this video because it's pretty good. Yeah, I've got some race stuff coming up. Guys, really interested. I am playing more and more with this 360 camera. Yeah, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the disc brake bike. We'll talk about the Garmin radar. I've got all those sort of things coming along, and the Feedback Sports trainer, which we'll be running in Wagga. See ya. Oh, someone asked me why is it a pain to edit? Because basically what you have to do with the 360 camera is you have to it's really cool in the sense that you can choose that shot to actually use, but the problem is you have to do that continuously. So like to track someone coming past or anything like that, you've got to just like put keyframes in to move the camera around. It's great. Yeah, I'm back again. Oh, jeez, it's diabolical here.